I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mar B, and you are watching another episode of the Man Listen Show. Before we get started, let's hear a few words from our sponsors.
DD's Daiquiris is your #1 supplier of premium daiquiri mixes. You will love the taste of our classic margarita and signature strawberry mixes. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at DD's Daiquiris. DD is spelled DEEDEE. You can also find us at www.dd'sdaiquiris.com. DD's Daiquiris, giving good vibes to good people, one good drink at a time.
Are you in the state of Texas and looking for a knowledgeable loan advisor that will walk you through the process from application to closing? Well, then you need to contact Joe Byers at Trinity Oaks Mortgage. Trinity Oaks Mortgage offers FHA, VA, and conventional loans. They also have a first-time homebuyers program available. There is also down payment assistance available as well. Make sure you contact Joe Byers at Trinity Oaks Mortgage. You can reach Joe at 972-512-8990.
More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services offers individual and relationship counseling as well as mediation services to the community. At More Grace, healthy partnerships are valuable and beneficial. Please visit the website www.moregracecounseling.com for more information about our approach to counseling. More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services, where we offer more grace and more healing.
Please buy the new book by Arika Nicole Moore, Diabolical Tales of Woe. Diabolical Tales of Woe is a thrilling collection of short horror stories that leave you in an excited trepidation to see what will happen next. Prepare to face one horrific encounter after the next in this captivating novel. You can find this book on Amazon in the Kindle and paperback version. That is Diabolical Tales of Woe by Arika Nicole Moore. Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow the show on YouTube. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to the show. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. Lab, what's up with you?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
It's all good. It's all good. Arika, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Okay. And C, what's up with you?
Hey, what's good?
It's all good. It's all good. So today we're going to talk about y'all's president, President Trump. Trump got the Rona. So about 10 days ago, it was announced that President Trump had tested positive for COVID-19. Melania Trump tested positive as well as a lot of other people in his cabinet, on his staff, and a few other senators as well. They trace it back to Trump announcing his Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. That is considered the event that started, this spread of COVID-19 throughout the White House and throughout Trump's affiliates. Of course, a few people were shocked that he got it. Me personally, I wasn't, because this dude's been gallivanting around without a mask, not adhering to social distancing, just acting like, it's nothing. So it wasn't a shock that he got it. Trump was airlifted to Walter Reed Hospital, where they said that he had a fever, he was fatigued, and his oxygen levels was low. He was actually on oxygen. A lot of other stuff happened, man. This dude left in his presidential motorcade with Secret Service, waving to people, kind of doing like a, me, hey everybody, I'm all right. A lot of people had a lot of problems with that because he put those Secret Service agents at risk. And then Trump left, did this weird return to the White House, without his mask. And now he's back on the campaign trail. They said he's no longer contagious. So a lot of people had their tinfoil hats on. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the events that happened afterwards. And then we'll also talk about our opinions on how the presidential election is going to turn out with less than 30 days to go. So what did y'all think? When I first got the announcement on my phone, I was talking to my wife and I said, hey man, Trump got the Rona. And she was like, I don't know if I believe it or not. And a lot of people said they didn't believe it. Was any of y'all one of those ones who didn't believe that he was being honest about having COVID-19?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't one of those tinfoil hat wearers this time. I guess because I just felt like you said, his behavior and activity over the past couple of months makes it feasible to me that he would put himself in close proximity to somebody who has it. So I mean, I thought it was real. I get what people are saying, that it seems real convenient and like a nice little push for this vaccine they want everybody to take, but I'm not taking it regardless. I don't care if he get this mysterious illness that Johnson and Johnson just gave whoever they were testing on. I'm not taking the vaccine. I don't care who got it. I don't care who it worked for. None of that. So that's where my conspiracy theory is. I don't want that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was necessarily one of the tinfoil hat wearers, but my initial reaction was that it wasn't true because I just thought it was too convenient right after he took such a hit at the debate. So everybody was kind of talking about the things he not so much said, I guess, what he didn't say as far as the white supremacist groups and things like that. And then those tapes came out where, Milana was talking about the kids on the border. So I just felt like it was a distraction. They want you to, focus on this, but on the other hand, they're doing, things over here. So that's what I thought initially, but I do think that he had it. So I kind of changed my mind a little bit after talking to some people who said that they, don't think that doctors would necessarily, falsify stuff and publicly say he had it. I mean, I see your face. That's why I said that's what they said.
Right.
No,
that's what doctors told me.
Doctors
white supremacy is built on lies, and when you talk about how the medical field has done Black people in terms of how they have tricked us into doing things, I don't put anything above anybody in terms of not telling the truth.
Right.
Medical diagnosis.
And my whole thing with it was this. So at first I was like, does he really have it? But then I started thinking, man, he's so much of a narcissist. He would not admit to having it if he didn't. There's no way you can convince me that he would be like, okay, this is my last resort. I'll say I have it. He wouldn't do that. That's too much of an ego shot to him.
Yeah. Especially after he spent so many months dismissing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing, is he said it was a hoax and all that. So if he didn't have it, there's no way he would be like, okay, it's not a hoax. I was just playing. So
I just don't think I just don't think that he was faking, just because I believe in science, And I believe that the way he was acting, like holding those rallies, basically just disregarding anything the experts said about the virus and the disease. I mean, it was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time before it hit him. I'm really shocked that it took this long.
Me too.
When he had that big rally, you see what it did to Herman Cain. You know what I mean? And Trump, he's not in shape. He's elderly. He's like 74 years old. Like, honestly, I really was shocked that he bounced back like he did. Now, he's got access to all the experimental drugs, top-notch treatment, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't let the president of the United States, fall ill or just die off. But yeah, it was shocking, man. It was shocking. But I really was surprised about the skepticism by a lot of people, because a lot of Facebook groups I was in, like the majority of the people in the groups were like, nah, this is BS. Nah, he ain't got it. He's just trying to use this as a political ploy, which, I don't really see how it benefits him, other than he could say, oh, listen, I'm the Superman. I'm the tough guy. I beat it. This is why you don't have to worry about it, because I beat it. I'm 74 and I'm out of shape. You know what I mean? So y'all can go, we could reopen the economy. It's just like the flu. Let's go back. That's the only thing I can see them really trying to do that. But why? I just don't know. I'm not sure. I think he had it.
I I agree with what you're saying. You know, maybe that's what he could have benefited. But once 20 other people in the White House came down with it, that's where I was like, okay, he's not lying, because all these other people wouldn't contract it, you know. And then so then you say, okay, maybe everybody in the White House is in on it. But then those Gold Star families that he met with at the White House, some of them end up coming down with it. And you know, they're not in on the whole charade. So that's where I was like, well, okay, he got it for real, for real.
Maybe not knowingly. Maybe not knowingly. They might.
I mean, they're in on it. They're in on it, but I'm saying they weren't willingly.
Where's my hat? Let me put my tinfoil hat on. Yeah.
Maybe. I think that's the bigger problem, though, is that people are so skeptical of everything that he says that people don't even believe that he's just sick. Like, you have to question everything that he says, everything that he does, for what his ulterior motives might be. And that's a kind of a terrible thing for us as a nation to have to put up with on a daily basis. Because now, I mean, if you have to question every single thing that your government is telling you, then we're already pretty jacked up as a government.
I mean, but I kind of think most of us don't really trust politicians anyway. But to your point, I think he has taken it to the nth degree in terms of just like, hey, look, he lies like he breathes. And we all know people who are like that. Like, you just lied just to be lying.
Just to lie.
And the sad thing about it is many of his followers and supporters, like, he says it enough, they'll go with it and they'll really rationalize it. So that's how you know that it's really not about, you know, the economy or anything else. All this is just about maintaining power, right? Yeah. Maintaining power and maintaining, you know, the lifestyle of white supremacy, in my personal opinion. That's what it's about.
When, you know, you were talking about his followers and they believe everything he says, that's why I think that, like, you know, just the way he's handling things is just so insensitive. Like, people don't have the same access to care that he does. And, you know, now his followers are like, oh, see, there's nothing, you know, it's fine. If we get it, we'll be fine in 48 hours and we'll be walking around. And if he lived through it, I can live through it. So you can't check into, you know, that type of, you know, grade A medical hospital and get all the drugs and get IVs and pumps, stuff like that. So I think he's going to, you know, just by him being such a narcissist and insensitive, he's going to knock off a lot of his followers.
But you know what? And the sad thing about it is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The sad thing about it is he don't care.
No.
He don't care, and he fully realizes that a lot of them are poor as you know what, and they don't have access to health care. They're the main ones that need to be talking about, hey, let's expand Obamacare. They're the main ones, but they're so brainwashed, and we know why. Because as long as they can say, you know what, as long as I'm not on the same level as those black people, I'm good. But really, they're not. So they're voting against their interests. I've seen it. I've seen people. I'm like, man, look, I know you ain't got the money. I know you need the help, but you still voting for this cat. It's baffling. But I know what the deal is. So he said that he was ready to get back on the campaign trail, right? So he said he was going to hold a rally at the White House. So he was on the balcony at the White House, speaking out, looking real authoritarian. And then when they showed the crowd, I was like, look at all these darkies up in this mug. Like, how much did they pay them to come out and sit there with this fool and be at risk of catching this disease? Because the White House, up until today, they wouldn't say whether he had tested negative or not. They wouldn't say when he actually got it. Actually, they pretty much know that he knew he had it, but still went out in the public and did some campaign activity. So he put all those people at risk too. So it just baffles. First of all, it baffles me that you're a black person who is pro-Trump. And then secondly, why would you put yourself at risk? I mean, that check and them butter biscuits had to be real hot for you to go there.
I think that, like you said, people will vote against their own interests. Some of our people are no different. And I think that, like we talked about before, if there's even a sliver of hope that they can get some of the limelight that those token black Republicans receive just for being affiliated with that party, then some people are willing to sell their soul to get it.
I mean, but what do they get out of it though? Like, what black person really has received like any type of notoriety? I mean, Diamond and Silk, they fell off, right? Whatever they was getting, Omarosa, like, well, what did they get out of it? That's why I don't understand. Like, are you getting a check? What's the deal?
No, I think it's not necessarily that they're for Trump, but it's some black Republicans, and then it goes back to kind of like you were saying, people vote against their own interests. They're more worried about the party. Like there's key issues, right, that people will vote, hang their hat on, and you can do whatever else you want to do as long as you ride with me on this one particular issue or these two particular issues. And there's businessmen. I don't know if you guys saw Robert Johnson, right, the BET founder,
Yep.
talking about that same thing, talking about, hey, as a business person, the economy's been great for you, with Trump, so I don't know what he was trying to accomplish by that, but I guess he's kind of giving an insight into some people. It's all about business, and they feel they're beyond to where, the racial inequity and racial injustice and all this kind of stuff they're above that. It doesn't touch them. That's what they feel. But I'm sure they still got family members and people that they love and care about who they one misturned signal away from being a hashtag, and then we'll see what they're
be like that brother up in Wolf City talking about the cops ain't that bad, and that's they popular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Not for me, I mean, I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but you up here talking about how you addicted to white women and
whoa, I didn't see
what?
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. Part.
What? Y'all didn't see? Like straight up, he said he was addicted to white women. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. Hold on, real quick. I got receipts. So this is the post that he made. Y'all see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where's it at? Hold on. I was raised by hold on, here it comes. Okay, so look at the last line and the second paragraph.
Dude, I'm trying to read the whole thing.
Hold on. They're to blame for my countryside and addiction to white women. Not complaining one bit.
And he got a peach on there. Man, dude. Come on, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm skimming through the whole thing.
Yeah. So you sitting here talking about the police be cutting you some slack, especially for your addiction to white women. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect his family.
Right. But
he say stay woke.
Not trying, it's talking about stay woke and Black Lives to listen. Oh well. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible, but
yeah.
HYON, hold your own nuts, homeboy.
That post did not age well at all.
At all.
Oh man.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, not everybody who is like all lives matter or pro Trump or whatever, is deserves to go out that way. And he didn't deserve to go out that way. Mm-hmm. Even though, he was, I would say, almost anti-black with some of the statements that he was saying, it still doesn't mean that the cops were justified in killing him because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That could have been me driving through East Texas. It could have been anybody. So we still have to hold them accountable for it. But does it cause the same emotions and feelings like it does for like Breonna Taylor or George Floyd or any of the other people killed by the cops? No, not really. Not for me. It doesn't. That's just it.
I'm a little more empathetic than that.
Yeah, I mean, they did, like you said, they didn't know that was his political leanings when they got him. So I mean,
and now he's been robbed of the opportunity of growth. We could have got him back together with sanity, maybe. I don't know.
I think Lamar Odom the only one I know that come back from the white side.
But shouldn't.
I don't know nobody.
Russell?
Yeah, Russell.
You right. And Russell got him down with too.
Just got to put some sunshine on him. That's all.
Yeah, he got him down with too. He got him a bad one for sure. But what y'all think gonna happen with this election though? I mean, the polls are showing that Joe Biden is up in a major way. The Democrats are raising like record numbers in terms of campaign money. It's not looking good in terms of what the media says about Biden versus Trump in terms of like Trump's possibility of winning. It doesn't look good for Trump, but I thought the same thing when y'all's girl Hillary ran against him. I thought there was no way that she was going to lose. Like, as accomplished as she is, you know, first lady, senator, secretary of state, I was like, there's no way they'll put this fool in over her. I was wrong. What y'all think? We less than 30 days out. You think Trump gonna win? You think Biden gonna pull it out?
I'm not even gonna put that type of negativity in the air. So I'm just gonna say Biden is gonna win, and that's just gonna be that. And then, I mean, I don't know. I feel like having such polarizing people run our country is terrible anyway. I wish we had somebody who would unify both the sides. I know that's just wishful thinking, but it just doesn't make any sense to me that we have a country where half of the people like literally hate the other half of the people just because we don't know which one of these old grumpy white men should be running the country. Don't either one of them like us. So I mean,
I agree to say I'm surprised that Biden is polarizing, because honestly, you look at his track record, he's really just, you know, just on the other side of that same dirty bird. So I don't see why he's polarizing, other than he probably won't go as far. He's a Dem, and they don't go as far as Republicans do in terms of like, let me go ahead and establish my dominance and my power. But I you know, honestly, I don't. You're right. We don't need to put any negative energy in the air. We need Trump out. But I think this whole pandemic and Trump getting sick and them not being able to do any other debates and limited campaigning and limited the less opportunities Biden had to put his foot in his mouth was a plus for him.
Yep.
Because Trump is going to keep running his mouth. So basically, you know, Biden just had to like stop from making those gaffes, because you know Biden good for making gaffes. Y'all remember when he was VP for Obama, he kept putting his foot in his mouth to the point where Obama was like, hey, on this second term, I might pick a new VP. Like, it was that bad. So, you know, I think it's for real. If y'all read the books, it was that bad. Joe just kept messing up. So I think he's been doing a good job of this, not screwing up the race and letting Trump, you know, implode. My personal opinion.
So I think we still have to worry about the electoral college, because remember, Hillary won the popular vote. But I will say, like, in a lot of like just Republican groups and you know, things like that, a lot of Republicans actually are turning their back on Trump, because I mean, let's be completely honest, like, he's out of control. I mean, he's like, you know, borderline psychotic. The stuff that he just keeps saying and tweeting and just doing, like, I feel like he's losing his backing of the party. And of course, he still has, like, you know, McConnell and those extremes, but I think a lot of like local governors and stuff are like, you know, actually on Team Biden. So we'll see. But I think you're right, though. I wouldn't say that they're a lot alike, but they're a little alike. I mean, I don't know if people are judging Biden on his, you know, indiscretions from back in the 90s and, you know, the 70s with the whole bus thing and things like that. But I don't know. I hold grudges personally, but I do get why people have forgiven Biden, because you do have to give people the opportunity to grow and change. And he doesn't think the way now that he did back when he made that comment about the schools, you know, integrating and didn't want his kids going into the jungle and all that. But I don't want to bring up all that. Like you said, that's all negative. I don't want to bring that up anymore. So we're just going to focus on what Joe can do moving forward. And I just can't deal with Trump. It wasn't like, you know, Trump being in office wasn't necessarily bad for me personally, up until this last year, you know, when things started, you know, when COVID kind of hit. But I just can't take a chance with him being so acceptance of races, you know, just with me having like Black kids and my nieces and nephews, my sons, like, these white supremacists are getting too comfortable, and they think it's okay just to be out and openly racist. I mean, do we know that racism has been around in America since day one? Absolutely. But I feel like it's scary with somebody like Trump who lets them think that it's okay and they can keep saying things and doing things. And I can't take that chance. Like, I feel like when he made that comment about stand back and stand by, I feel like there's going to be a lot of voter suppression in the future. And if my grandparents had to deal with that in the 60s, I don't want my kids to have to deal with it, you know, 10 and 20 years from now. So that's why I'm against Trump.
I'm all things considered, Hillary had a lead. It wasn't this sizable, but there's also a large faction of people in the Democratic Party that never really rock with Hillary, though, ever. And so that factored in too. But right now, the way these people are early voting in Georgia, the first day of early voting, they had a record turnout. You know, people still stood in line for 8 hours. I voted early. Seriously, I didn't even know I could. And I found out I could do absentee in person in Missouri, well, in Kansas City. I don't know you can do it in other jurisdictions. But I voted early. I think that's the whole thing, is getting people out to the polls, man. And I think that they're energized.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that's the one good thing, is that people are real, I think, excited to get out there and see what happens, more so than they were when it was Hillary and Trump.
But all that said, holla at me on January 21st, 2021, and we'll see who's in office. That's all I'm gonna say. You know,
I think,
Right, because I'm kind of wondering if he loses, if he's really going to act a fool like he said he was.
I think he is. That's what I'm saying. I want to see how this plays out.
I mean, when does he not act a fool?
no, but I think it's more.
True.
I think it's more nefarious than that. I think, when I listen to a lot of news podcasts and they interview people, and they older white men, white people in general, they weren't a fan of Trump. They weren't a fan of Trump at all. But he's what I would term a useful idiot, because like we always talked about, white people are dying off. You know what I mean? They're not reproducing enough to where they're going to maintain the majority. So in order for them to do that, we talked about how they've been losing the popular vote, but the electoral college has been putting them in office, the president into office. That happened with Bush, that happened with Trump. They see that the only way that they can really maintain power is through the courts. So by getting Trump in, what they got, 2 Supreme Court judges, right? And they're about to have a third.
About to get 3, yeah.
About to have a third. So for them, yeah, we'll put up with this BS, right? Because look at what we have, and that impacts us. That impacts us daily. When he puts all those people, all those judges in the place who had conservative leaning, that are conservative leaning, that impacts us. I got a friend. He's trying to pursue a case, right? He's trying to pursue a case, and it has to deal with racism, and he might not be able to do it because the judges that are in that area, they're more inclined not to hear cases like that. So it might not even make it forward. It might just dismiss it from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So so that's the type of stuff that affects us every day. So that's why we got to vote. I'm gonna hold my nose and vote. I said I wasn't gonna say anything bad about Biden. See, he brought up the bus, his comments about the busing, the segregated busing and all that. I'm still pissed about the crime bill. But like I said, I ain't gonna say nothing. We're just gonna say go ahead and vote. And I'm gonna leave it alone.
I'm just gonna mention it, but then I ain't gonna say nothing else.
I ain't gonna say nothing about that 1994 crime bill that he passed on August 27th.
But I ain't gonna say nothing else.
I didn't talk about how he did a Nita Hill. I didn't talk about how he did a Nita Hill. I just said the crime bill.
That's true.
Yeah.
You didn't?
Huh?
You just did.
What?
Yeah, is that?
Damn, my bad.
But I'm mad about the crime bill, but there's a lot of brothers and sisters that I'm mad at that played a part in that crime bill too.
That's what I said from jump. I mean,
they ain't running for president though, so
no, you're right, but
yeah, they ain't running for president. So
he thought he was winning votes though by doing that thing.
Right.
So
no.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was joking about those things. I mean, we've talked about those issues that we had with Biden in the past before, but at the end of the day, I really want to encourage people to vote. It is problematic if you don't. Don't listen to the people that say don't vote. I think that's a major mistake. I think you need to do everything you can. If you can early vote. There's a reason why they're trying to suppress our vote.
Yeah,
there's a reason. And do what you can to, by hook, nook, or cranny, to get out and vote. Don't be intimidated. Don't be dissuaded. Don't be dismayed. Don't be discouraged. It's important. I'm excited because by the time the elections come around, my son will be able to vote. So
okay,
I'm really excited. I took him with me to the polls as a kid, to vote for the president, to show him the importance of it. So I'm excited to be able to take him there so he can vote for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I hope everybody else does the same. You got anything else about this y'all want to talk about?
Just vote, man. Get out. If you can vote early, and then on election day you can maybe be a carrier for you can transport people or something like that. That's a good idea too. Your grandma, your aunties, your whoever don't drive can't get to the polls, but you voted early, you can make your rounds, you know.
And I
You
think
could be a poll judge too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think everybody should commit to calling at least 10 people to encourage them to vote. You know,
Yeah.
everybody should call at least 10 people to say, man, when you planning on voting, when you planning on getting out, and you know, make sure that we did it when Obama was running. We need to do it now because
Yeah.
this is it's serious. I definitely think that we don't. I mean, like C said, like we've been fine. You know, us personally, we have been fine, right? But in the future, the things that may be put at risk in terms of like women's health, the Voting Rights Act, you know, housing, all those things that are put in to protect us, to give us our rights, to make sure that we're full citizens, that stuff could be at play if we
Right.
keep this fool in office. So
Yeah.
definitely get out and vote, and definitely vote for Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm gonna put that out there.
You know, I know you guys saw, but he's using that Biden is just he's just gonna get elected and hand over the reins of the country to Kamala Harris. You know, he's not gonna be the one running the country. She's gonna be president, de facto president, and all this stuff, man. And he's just trying to drum up fear of a black woman. And I was glad she was stayed composed during the debate, because you could tell she wanted to go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that he talked about Biden's health. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
They both old
Yeah.
and hurt, and they talked about his health, and you know how that would mean Kamala would be in office, and you know it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to get out and vote. We got to get out and vote. So make sure, family, that you follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Man Listen Show. If you like our show, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, and tell everybody else about it. We'll holler at you next time. Peace.
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 Holla. Vote.